Well, here we go. Final show before the 2024 Illini football team kicks off next Thursday versus EIU. Go Blue. Yeah, I'm a Panther. Sorry. I was a Panther before I was an Illini, I guess. Hey, but aside from that, IlliniGuys.com. He's the football writer and analyst. Matt Stevens joining us for one more look at the team before they kick off. Matt, here it is. Spring is over. The summer workout's over. Preseason is over. What can we expect from this Illini team on Thursday?
I think you want to see fundamental football. I think they don't want a whole lot of penalties. I think they want to look like they are, taking what they do in the meeting room, do in the film room to the football field. I don't expect to see anything exotic on offense or defense, but I do expect them to try to figure out what in the playbook works from a basic standpoint. And I think you're going to see rotations that at certain positions, i.e., tailback, maybe wide receiver, maybe defensive back, maybe even defensive line that could work later on in the year, and i.e., week two against Kansas. So I think Illinois got to figure out some stuff going into week two against Kansas, and I think the only way you do that is by putting thousands of people in Memorial Stadium and play a game that counts, in which they're not tackling other teammates. And I think that's something you want to see. I think you want to see Illinois play with intensity. You want to see Illinois play smart, and you want to see them get out clean without any injuries when the 60 minutes is up on the clock.
So besides your expertise in stretching, because you probably don't need to see another Illini stretch again in your life.
We won't anymore. We're done with that. I won't see another practice until the spring, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you going to be looking at as a journalist? But what are the top three things you're going to be looking at to answer questions that Matt Stevens has about this team?
Do they look like as basic as it sounds, do they look like a team that is a functional football team that used training camp in order to do the fundamental things that they need to do to win football games? Quite frankly, I'm kind of going to go down Bielema's checklist. Do they run the ball on Thursday? Do they stop the run on Thursday? Is there any special teams gaps on Thursday? If any of those boxes remain unchecked, that's a concerning deal, especially against an Eastern Illinois University. So, of which I am a Panther, by the way, too, Larry. Yeah, I think that's the basic fundamental checklist, Mike. Do they look like they know what they're doing? And do they execute in a manner that gives you any kind of confidence that this team could go bowling at the end of the year or have a successful season? If they have a double digit number of penalties, that's a concern. If they turn the ball over a couple of times or a little bit more than that, that's a concern. If they can't run the football, the offensive line doesn't look dominant against Eastern Illinois. That's a concern. And I think that Brett Bielema wants to get through 60 minutes. I think he wants to have talking points that they need to clean up before they play Kansas a little over a week from now, from that moment. But they don't want to look like they're going over basics after week one. And don't give me this garbage that every team looks better in week two after week one. I think they've done a lot of basic fundamental things in camp, and they need to translate that into the game on Thursday night against EIU. And if they don't do that, I think the concern of this fan base will be even more justified. And I think that there are things that I think I'm looking forward to just know that they know what they're doing, and that they're executing it at a relatively high level, even against an FCS opponent.
With Matt Stevens of the IlliniGuys.com, football writer and analyst. Lots of great coverage this entire month, of course, all through the year, obviously, but especially here as we're getting ready for kickoff of this new season. It's year four now for Brett Bielema. 5 wins, the nice win there in the middle. They got him a bowl win on New Year's Day, the nice season, back down to 5 wins last year. How important is this season for Brett Bielema to, in this new look without divisions, 18-team league now, for Brett to come out and be strong in this game and then to try to get that to propel success the rest of the season?
Well, with the way that October looks, Larry, I think this team's got to get off to a start that is relatively confidence building. I really do. Quite frankly, and we'll get into this later on in like a couple of weeks, a week maybe, but I think the week two game against Kansas is the biggest game that Brett Bielema has ever coached at Illinois. period.
Mm.
There were
Mm.
2 people that Josh Whitman interviewed face to face for the Illinois job. The other one is going to be on the visiting sideline. That is a big thing, and he could go 2-0 with 2 blowout wins against Illinois in a program build at Kansas, where he's got that thing where they're thinking about winning 7, 8, 9 games every year now in Lawrence, and they're building a new stadium, and they have their statue building guy that they in Lance Leipold that they're pushing all their chips into the middle of the table with. Brett Bielema is somebody that Josh Whitman believes a lot in, but this fan base needs to have something to believe in. And I think a win against a ranked Kansas team in week 2 could go a long way to that, especially when it comes at home. But I think that this team's got to get back to an identity. I think that this team's got to get back to, on both sides of the ball, figuring out who they are and what they want to be. And if you're playing in a Brett Bielema, program, you better be able to run the ball, and you better be able to physically be able to handle the line of scrimmage. I think that Illinois wants to get back to just being an absolute pain in the rear for everybody to play, and now a new 18-team Big Ten. And I think if they can do that, 6, 7 wins is on the table. But this team needs to play with a physicality that they have not shown in about, a year and a half. And I think that that's very frustrating for everybody inside the Smith Center, Brett Bielema probably being at the top of that list.
So you've got a Eastern Illinois team coming in that comes in with a veteran quarterback in Pierce Hawley. Is he going to put any type of challenges in front of that Illinois defense? I'm not saying he's gonna equal obviously what Kansas brings to the table, but is he going to press that defense a little bit, and we'll get a little bit of a read on how good the Illini defense is?
He will if the defensive line can't get in the backfield. And I think, I think there are so many new pieces in this secondary. Pieces that you have confidence in. Torrey Cox has played 20+ games in his career at Ohio. Terrence Brooks has started 2 straight years at Texas. But there's Matthew Bailey has done what, has a lot of confidence in that building in Matthew Bailey. And if he stays healthy, he has a lot of confidence in them. But it's all new. It's almost all new, except for maybe Xavier Scott and, Tyler Strain, if they want to put him in out there. It's all new. And Lord knows it's all new up front with the D line. So if they can't get in the backfield, I think Illinois could need to cover. And I don't know, how much Eastern's going to put pressure on them to do that. But I do know that, they play a very, very effective. I mean, they have rebuilt that program in Charleston overnight at the FCS level. And I think it's the smartest hire that Eastern's made in quite a while. So I think they better be prepared. I think that they're going to be highly favored in this football game, but you do not want Eastern to hang around past halftime in this football game. Otherwise, you're not giving the fan base a lot to look forward to in a start of the season, again, that I think needs to have a fast start, because October is hell, and November you need to be healthy and ready to go for the games that you have there, because you're probably going to have to win a few of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, great football tradition down at Eastern. Obviously, we go back to 78, Dr. Victory, Daryl Mudra, the great years with Sean Payton, of course, Tony Romo, and this is a program also that has been known to hang around for 3 quarters against FBS programs. Like you say, you definitely don't want that if you're on the side of the orange and blue. Matt, we enjoy it as always talking with you. Enjoy the weekend, final weekend free for you for a while before things kick in. Look forward to seeing your stuff on IlliniGuys.com, and we'll catch up with you next week after the game.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Once again, Matt Stevens, he's the football writer and analyst for IlliniGuys.com. Be sure to check out his good work there on the website. Hey, we have so much more coming up. The voice of the Fighting Illini, Brian Barnhart, is standing by. He joins us next right here on the Sports Spectacular.